Bob brought this guy on the set and said, this is Jack, and he's an actor and wants to be a writer. And Jack had done some B movies at the time, I guess, and I want him to get involved in making our movie.
I was almost thinking I was going to be a director rather than an actor, so I'd been writing. Rafelson and I were talking, and I said, Bob, I can write a movie about anything. He said, yeah, well, could you write a movie for the Monkees? I said, the Monkees? You gotta be kidding me, because I didn't really know them. You know, all I knew was as a successful television show about a rock and roll group. And he said, well, you said you could write it about anything. I said, fine. He says, come in tomorrow. That's when I met Bert. So that night I thought up 2 movies. And I go into Bert and I say, well, Bert, I got 1 movie for you. And I didn't know Bert. I didn't know how cool he was. And I said, one of them I can guarantee you will be as big a hit as Hard Day's Night, easy. And with equal certainty, the other one I can guarantee you won't make a nickel. He says, I want the second one. I said, I didn't know where to go with the interview. He blew my mind, the first thing he ever said to me.
Jack and I wrote Head in strange places, I might add, in closets and basements, sometimes under the influence of Timothy Leary's little pills.
What's 19? What's 19, Ripper? Someone here.
But during the entire writing of Head, I couldn't take my eyes off him. It wasn't simply how amazing he was in conceptualizing and in writing. It was the way he acted out all the Monkees parts. And if there was an animal, he could act out the animal. A bird, he could tweet like a bird. A snake, he could slither like a snake. It was a phenomenon. I could not stop looking at him. I can't stop looking today.
So Bob and I wrote that together, which was great fun. We've always been great collaborators as writers because we make one another laugh like crazy. And that monkey situation, I won't go into.
Can you move over to stage 5?
It has to do.
I'll see you later,
it's a kid. Bob, it's a movie for kids. They're not gonna dig it, man.
It's got to make a wardrobe change, man.
Tell Gene to put my clothes in the
Gene
trailer.
Ashman, get the wardrobe ready.
I think Bob, but to a great extent Bert, as we now know, was very, very, politically and socially radical.
If you're part of that group, you look at it as you're a filmmaker. Bert forced me into the editing room. They made a lot of decisions, Bert, Bob, and Steve, that I was unaware about at the time, but they were basically educating me. I'd never been in an editing room before Head.
There's something about Head, something about the sensibility and the way that they, essentially Bob and Jack, captured the spirit of the moment on film.
Hold it. This is for life.
So I heard through the grapevine that Bob and Bert had started another independent production company called BBS. I remember going in the office, and I remember Peter Fonda there, and I remember Jack, and I remember them talking about Easy Rider.
And we got this great idea. Well, I know what we'll do. I think this was Bert more than me, or maybe both of us, maybe Steve. Let's call the picture Head, and then we'll be able to say, when we open up Easy Rider, which will follow, from the producers who gave you Head. And we thought that was very funny. Unfortunately, nobody saw Head, so that title, although we used it, it didn't turn out to be very useful.